Welcome to Echoes of Ihsan, where we take these deep dives into Islamic texts.
Yeah.
And today, we're going to be looking at Sahih Bukhari,
Okay.
specifically Book 90.
Okay.
It's called Wishes.
Interesting.
And it's a fascinating collection of hadiths that gives us like a glimpse
Right.
into the desires and aspirations of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions.
Right.
So what do they long for?
Yeah.
What can we learn from their hopes and dreams?
Yeah. Big question.
Big questions.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Let's jump in. What's so fascinating here, I think, is that, we often think of prophets as almost superhuman figures, right?
Right.
But these hadiths actually reveal their human side.
Yeah.
Their very real longings and concerns.
Right. It's so relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
The first few hadiths we're looking at, hadiths 332 and 333, deal with a pretty intense wish.
Okay.
The Prophet's longing for martyrdom.
Oh, wow. Okay. So these hadiths are so powerful because they demonstrate the depth of the Prophet's commitment to his faith. He expresses this really fervent desire to achieve martyrdom.
Multiple times.
Multiple times, yeah, in the path of Allah.
He actually says, and I'm quoting here, "By him in whose hands my life is, were it not for some men who dislike to be left behind, and for whom I do not have means of conveyance, I would not stay away from any holy battle. I would love to be martyred in Allah's cause and come to life and then get martyred and then come to life and then get martyred and then get resurrected and then get martyred."
Wow.
It's repeated in another narration, too.
Wow. This repetition really emphasizes the significance of sacrifice in Islam, particularly during the early days when Muslims faced severe persecution. Martyrdom was seen as the ultimate act of devotion,
Right.
like a pathway to paradise.
It's hard for us to grasp that level of commitment.
Yeah.
It really puts things in perspective.
Definitely.
Now, from this, intense yearning for martyrdom, we shift to a completely different kind of wish.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What is it?
So in Hadith 334,
Okay.
the Prophet expresses a wish that reveals a lot about his attitude toward wealth.
Okay.
He states, "If I had gold equal to the mountain of Uhud, I would love that before 3 days had passed, not a single dinar thereof remained with me if I found somebody to accept it, excluding some amount that I would keep for the payment of my debts."
Wow, so imagine that.
A mountain of gold.
A mountain of gold.
He just wants to give it all away.
And he wants to give it all away. It's a stark contrast to, I think, our modern obsession with accumulating wealth, isn't it?
Right.
Absolutely. This hadith really underscores, I think, the Islamic emphasis on charity and detachment from material possessions. It beautifully exemplifies the concept of zakat, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which obligates Muslims to give a portion of their wealth to those in need.
Yeah. It's a powerful reminder that true wealth lies not in what we possess, but in how we use it to benefit others.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on. Hadiths 335 and 336 take us to a more personal reflection.
Oh, okay. Personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these hadiths center around the Prophet's Hajj pilgrimage.
Okay.
And he expresses a wish that he had performed certain aspects of the Hajj differently had he known certain things beforehand. And this is particularly interesting because it shows that even the Prophet was open to learning and adapting his practices based on new understanding.
Okay, so can you give me a specific example? What parts of the Hajj is he talking about?
Yeah, so these hadiths are about the specific rituals of Hajj, like the state of Ihram and the performance of Umrah along with Hajj.
Okay, and just to remind the listeners, Ihram is a sacred state that pilgrims enter into during Hajj. It involves wearing simple white garments and abstaining from certain actions.
Yeah.
And Umrah is a separate pilgrimage that can be performed alongside Hajj.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the Prophet's wish here highlights the importance of continuous learning and adapting in Islamic tradition. Even the Prophet was open to evolving his understanding and practices based on new knowledge.
Yeah, that's a valuable lesson, for all of us to be open to new information and to adapt our beliefs and practices accordingly.
It's a reminder that growth and learning are lifelong processes.
100%.
Now, from these reflections on Hajj, we move to a set of hadiths that reveal a simpler,
Okay.
more relatable side of the Prophet and his companions.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hadith 337 is fascinating because it relays the simple wishes expressed by individuals like Aisha,
Okay.
the Prophet's wife,
Okay.
and Bilal, the first muezzin,
Right.
amidst their challenging lives. These desires were not like grand or ambitious,
Right.
but rather focused on finding moments of peace and contentment.
Simple things.
Yeah. So, for example, Aisha wished for a righteous companion to guard them at night. This speaks to the importance of feeling safe and secure in a time when the early Muslim community faced threats and persecution. And Bilal simply wished to spend a night in a valley surrounded by fragrant grass.
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine the beauty and tranquility of that
Ah,
scene.
that's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
These wishes are so human, so relatable.
Yeah.
They remind us of the importance of finding solace in nature,
Yeah.
in the company of loved ones, and in the remembrance of God. They highlight this universal desire for peace, tranquility, and connection with something larger than ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's a reminder that even in the midst of trials and hardships, we can still find joy and contentment in simple things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we've seen the prophet's longing for martyrdom,
Right.
his detachment from worldly wealth,
Hmm.
his willingness to learn and adapt, and the simple desires for peace and solace.
Quite the range.
Now let's delve into a hadith that provides guidance on whom we should emulate.
Okay.
So Hadith 338 is crucial because it offers direction in a world full of distractions and fleeting trends. You know, the prophet guides us on the appropriate subjects of envy. Those who excel in reciting the Quran and those who generously give in charity.
Okay.
He says not to wish to be like, except for two men. A man whom Allah has given the knowledge of the Quran, and he recites it during the hours of night and day. And the one who wishes says, if I were given the same as this man has been given, I would do what he does. And a man whom Allah has given wealth, and he spends it in the just and right way, in which case the one who wishes says, if I were given the same as he has been given, I would do what he does.
Oh, wow. So this hadith encourages us to focus our aspirations on those who excel in knowledge and good deeds, to be inspired by their piety and generosity.
Right.
It's about seeking inspiration from those who embody the values of Islam and using them as models for our own spiritual growth.
Yeah, it's a reminder that our role models should be those who uplift us and motivate us to become better versions of ourselves. Instead of envying material wealth or social status, we should aspire to cultivate spiritual wealth and contribute to the well-being of others.
Yeah, I love that. This hadith really emphasizes the importance of choosing our role models wisely and focusing on those who inspire us to strive for righteousness and excellence in both our personal and communal lives. It's such a timeless message that resonates deeply in today's world.
Yeah. Now, let's move to a topic that might be a bit heavier, but it's important to address the prohibition of longing for death.
Okay, so these are hadiths 339 through 341.
Yeah, 339 through 341.
Okay.
And they focus on the prophet's explicit prohibition against wishing for death.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a crucial point because it reminds us that life is a precious gift and that we should cherish it and make the most of it.
Yeah, these hadiths really explain that it's not that we shouldn't accept death when it comes, but rather that we shouldn't actively desire it or prematurely seek it. There's a profound wisdom in this prohibition, you know?
From an Islamic perspective, life is seen as a period of testing and growth, an opportunity to accumulate good deeds and repent for our shortcomings. Wishing for death cuts short this valuable time, preventing us from fulfilling our potential and attaining spiritual purification.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet emphasizes that even if we're facing hardships, we should persevere and strive to improve ourselves.
Right.
For death is not an escape, but a transition to a higher realm of accountability. So instead of longing for death, we should focus on living our lives to the fullest, making the most of every moment to draw closer to Allah and to serve humanity.
Yeah, it's a reminder to embrace life's challenges as opportunities for growth and to seek to leave a positive legacy behind. It's about recognizing the inherent value of life and striving to make the most of the time we have. So we've journeyed from the prophet's longing for martyrdom to his detachment from material wealth. Peace and contentment, the guidance on choosing role models, and the prohibition against longing for death.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride so far.
It has been. Welcome back to Echoes of Ihsan, where we're continuing our deep dive into the fascinating world of wishes, as expressed in Sahih Bukhari Book 90.
Yeah, it's so insightful to explore these desires and aspirations because they give us a deeper understanding of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his companions, and the early Muslim community.
Exactly. It humanizes them and helps us connect with their experiences on a more personal level.
Last time we left off talking about the Prophet's profound love and respect for the Ansar, those who welcomed him and the early Muslims to Medina when they migrated from Mecca.
Right, and their generosity and selflessness played, a crucial role in the survival and growth of the early Muslim community.
It's like their story is a testament to the power of unity and compassion, values that are so central to Islamic teachings.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder what kind of wishes the Ansar themselves might have held in their hearts.
Right. What did they long for? What were their hopes and dreams for themselves, their families, and their community?
Yeah, that's a good question. While, the hadiths we're focusing on today don't specifically mention the Ansar's wishes, we can kind of infer from their actions and their unwavering dedication to the Prophet and the cause of Islam that their aspirations were likely aligned with his.
Right. So they were probably deeply invested in strengthening the Muslim community, spreading the message of Islam, and upholding the principles of justice and compassion.
Yeah, it's beautiful to kind of imagine their wishes intertwined with the Prophet's, creating a collective aspiration for a better world.
Yeah, and it reminds us that building a just and equitable society is a collective effort. It requires the contributions and aspirations of many.
Definitely. So as we kind of journey further into Book 90, I'm curious to see what other themes emerge from the Prophet's wishes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Each hadith offers this unique window into his character, his values, and his deep concern for his followers.
Okay, so let's see. The next set of hadiths we're going to explore actually takes us back to the theme of martyrdom.
Wait, but we already talked about the Prophet's longing for martyrdom. What new perspective do these hadiths offer?
Well, these hadiths address the issue from a slightly different angle. They shed light on the context surrounding the Prophet's desire for martyrdom, and they provide a more nuanced understanding of his views on warfare.
Okay, I'm listening.
So in Hadiths 342 and 343, we see the Prophet acknowledging the dangers and hardships faced by his companions, particularly during battles.
Right.
This kind of helps us understand, the reality of the time and the very real threats they were up against.
Okay, so Hadith 342 describes the Prophet participating in the Battle of the Trench, and he's carrying earth alongside his companions. And he's covered in dust, and he even prays for tranquility amidst the chaos and potential for affliction.
Yeah, it's a vivid image that captures the harsh conditions they endured and the unwavering faith they demonstrated.
Yeah. And in Hadith 343, the Prophet advises his followers to not long for encountering their enemies, but instead to pray for safety and protection.
Yeah, and this advice really emphasizes that, while they were prepared to defend themselves, they didn't seek out conflict or revel in violence.
Right. It highlights the importance of seeking peace and security, even in the midst of adversity.
Exactly. These hadiths, they demonstrate the Prophet's balanced approach. He acknowledged the realities of conflict, but he also emphasized the importance of seeking peaceful resolutions whenever possible.
Right, and it's a powerful reminder that striving for peace and security is, a fundamental aspect of Islamic teachings.
Absolutely. It challenges the misconception that Islam promotes aggression or violence. These hadiths underscore the importance of self-defense, but they also highlight the priority of peace.
Okay, so now let's shift gears and explore some hadiths that reveal the Prophet's deep concern for the spiritual well-being of his followers.
His compassion and guidance were truly remarkable.
Yeah, Hadiths 344 and 345 offer a glimpse into this aspect of his leadership. So in Hadith 344, he expresses a wish regarding a woman who was accused of adultery, but against whom there was no concrete evidence.
Okay, this is, obviously a sensitive topic. But it's important to understand how the Prophet dealt with such situations because it reveals a lot about his commitment to justice and his concern for protecting the innocent.
Yeah, so he actually says, if I were to stone a lady to death without proof against her.
Right. And this statement demonstrates his reluctance to punish anyone without clear evidence. He understood the gravity of such accusations and the potential for injustice.
It really emphasizes that Islamic law is not about harsh punishments, but about ensuring justice and protecting the rights of individuals.
Yeah, exactly. And then in Hadith 345, we see the Prophet delaying the Isha prayer one night. He explains his reasoning, saying, "Were I not afraid that it would be hard for my followers or for the people, I would order them to pray Isha prayer at this time."
Yeah, this seemingly small act really reveals his incredible sensitivity and consideration for his followers.
Yeah.
He understood their limitations and didn't want to burden them unnecessarily.
And it shows that he prioritized their well-being and their ability to fulfill their religious obligations without undue hardship.
Yeah. This hadith, it highlights the importance of flexibility and adaptation in religious practice. It recognizes that circumstances may sometimes require adjustments and that the spirit of the law should be upheld over rigid adherence to the letter of the law.
Yeah. It's a valuable lesson for us today as we navigate the complexities of modern life and strive to balance our religious obligations with our daily responsibilities.
100%. Okay, so we see the Prophet's concern for peace and security, his commitment to justice, and his sensitivity to the needs of his followers. Now let's delve into a few hadiths that focus on a specific practice: fasting.
Yeah, fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and holds, immense spiritual significance for Muslims.
Yeah, but these hadiths reveal something really interesting. They show the Prophet's balanced approach to fasting. He emphasizes both its importance and the need for moderation.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, so in Hadith 346, the Prophet expresses his wish that he could make using the siwak, which is a natural toothbrush, obligatory, particularly during fasting.
Right, the siwak is a twig from the Salvadora persica tree. It's been used for centuries as a natural toothbrush, and it has these, antibacterial properties.
Exactly, and the Prophet encouraged its use. He even said it is a purification for the mouth and a pleasure for the Lord.
So his wish to make it obligatory during fasting shows his attention to detail, even in matters of personal hygiene. He understood the connection between physical purity and spiritual purity.
Right, but he also acknowledged that making it obligatory might be burdensome for some, so he refrained from doing so.
Yeah. Again, it highlights his consideration for his followers and his desire to make religious practice accessible to all.
Yeah. Now, Hadiths 347 and 348, they delve into a specific type of fasting called wisal, which involves continuous fasting without breaking the fast at night.
Right. This type of fasting requires immense willpower and physical endurance. It's not something to be taken lightly.
No, it's not. And the Prophet, known for his piety and devotion, practiced wisal on occasion.
Right. But what's interesting is how he addresses his followers' attempts to emulate him in this practice.
Right. In Hadith 347, he explains that he's able to sustain such fasts because God provides him with sustenance even while he sleeps. It's a subtle reminder that, he's not like ordinary people. He receives divine support that enables him to perform extraordinary acts of worship.
Yeah. And in Hadith 348, when his followers insist on continuing the practice of wisal, despite his advice against it, he joins them for 2 days.
Yeah.
Demonstrating his willingness to share their experience.
It's incredible. He could have easily forbidden them from engaging in such a rigorous practice, but instead, he chooses to accompany them, to guide them, and to ensure their well-being.
Right, exactly. But then when the crescent moon appears, signifying the end of the month and the breaking of the fast, he expresses relief. He says, "If the crescent had not appeared, I would have fasted for a longer period, as if he intended to punish them herewith."
Oh, wow. That's a surprising twist. He was clearly concerned about their well-being, and he wanted to discourage them from pushing themselves beyond their limits.
It's a reminder that even in matters of spirituality, balance and moderation are key. We should strive to follow the Prophet's example, but we should also recognize our own limitations and avoid excessive practices that might harm us.
So these hadiths on fasting, they provide valuable guidance on the importance of finding a healthy balance in our religious practices. We should be mindful of our physical and emotional well-being and avoid extremes.
Absolutely. This resonates deeply with the overall message of Islam, which emphasizes moderation and balance in all aspects of life.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive. We've explored the Prophet's wishes regarding martyrdom, peace, justice, spiritual well-being, and even the nuances of fasting.
Yeah, it's amazing how each wish, whether grand or seemingly mundane, offers a glimpse into the Prophet's character and his profound concern for his followers.
And it's not just about understanding the Prophet better. It's about reflecting on our own wishes and aspirations.
100%.
What do they reveal about our values and priorities?
Exactly. These hadiths, they invite us to examine our own hearts and consider what truly matters in life.
Yeah, this deep dive has been so enriching. I can't wait to see what the final part holds.
Yeah. Join us in part 3 as we explore the remaining hadiths in Book 90 and uncover even more treasures of wisdom. Welcome back to Echoes of Ihsan. We're wrapping up our deep dive into this fascinating world of wishes as expressed in Sahih Bukhari, Book 90.
It's incredible how much we can learn from these simple expressions of desire. It's like each wish offers a window into the Prophet's heart and mind, revealing his values, his priorities, and his deep compassion for humanity.
Absolutely. And it's not just about understanding the Prophet better. It's about reflecting on our own wishes and aspirations.
Right.
What do they reveal about us? What do we truly value?
These hadiths challenge us to examine our own hearts
Yeah.
and see if our desires align with the principles of Islam.
Yeah.
So let's dive into these final hadiths. What gems of wisdom await us?
Well, we've explored the Prophet's wishes for his community, his concerns about justice and fairness, his guidance on spiritual practices like fasting.
Right, and let's not forget his profound love and respect for the Ansar. Their story is truly inspiring.
Absolutely. And in these last few hadiths, we see these themes converge beautifully.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more.
So in Hadith 349, the Prophet expresses a wish regarding the Kaaba, and it's a wish rooted in practicality and a deep understanding of his community.
Right, we talked about this briefly in part 2, right?
Yeah.
He wished to incorporate the hatim, the semicircular wall, into the main structure of the Kaaba
Yeah,
and lower its entrance.
exactly. But what's fascinating is his reasoning. He says, "Were your people not still close to the period of ignorance, and were I not afraid that their hearts might deny my action, then surely I would include the wall in the Kaaba and make its gate touch the ground."
Wow, so even though he had a clear vision for how he wanted the Kaaba to be, he chose to prioritize unity and understanding over immediate implementation.
Precisely. He recognized that his community was still transitioning from their pre-Islamic beliefs and practices, and he didn't want to impose changes that might create division or resistance.
Yeah, it's a testament to his wisdom and patience. He knew that true lasting change takes time and requires a gentle, compassionate approach.
It's a powerful lesson for all of us. Sometimes we need to meet people where they are and guide them gently towards understanding, even if it means delaying our own plans or visions.
Now let's move on to the final two hadiths, 350 and 351. These are particularly moving because they highlight the Prophet's deep affection for the Ansar.
Ah, the Ansar. Their generosity and selflessness were instrumental in the establishment of the Muslim community in Medina. They welcomed the Prophet and the Muhajirun, the migrants from Mecca, with open arms, sharing their homes, their resources, and their lives.
Right, and the Prophet, in turn, cherished them deeply. And in these hadiths, he expresses his profound gratitude and love for them.
He says, "But for the immigration, I would have been one of the Ansar, and if the people took their way in a valley or a mountain pass, I would take the Ansar's valley or the mountain pass."
Wow. He's basically saying, I consider myself one of you. Your path is my path.
Exactly. It's a powerful affirmation of brotherhood, unity, and shared purpose. It underscores the importance of community, of supporting and caring for one another, especially in times of need.
Yeah, these hadiths are a beautiful reminder that we are stronger together. True strength lies in our bonds of love, compassion, and mutual support.
And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into wishes from Sahih Bukhari, Book 90.
It's been an incredible journey. We've laughed, we've reflected, and we've gained a deeper understanding of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the profound lessons embedded in these hadiths.
Yeah, I really hope this deep dive has inspired you to consider your own wishes and aspirations. What do they reveal about your values? How can you channel those desires into actions that benefit yourself, your community, and the world around you?
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of, the human side of wishes. Until next time, may peace and blessings be upon you.